Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the 8th episode of the Advanced Dungeons and Dynamics 365 Bare Bones Configuration series. For those of you who haven't seen this or seen what I've been doing, and excuse me for a second as I just get this set up. Then what I've been doing over with this series is I've been going out and configuring Dynamics 365 from the base. Okay. And what we've been doing is we've been setting up the entire system. And the whole idea of this is that we're going to configure the entire or most of Dynamics 365, the finance and operations, over a period of time. And it's going to be a couple of episodes that we're going to do this, because right now we're on the 8th episode and we're looking at the general ledger. So in the previous episode, what we looked at is we looked at how to create journal names and also how to create journals. So we created our first journal in the system. And now we're going to continue, and over the next 20 or so minutes, what we're going to do is we're going to show some other features that you've got in the journals, which are going to be the voucher templates, or templates. And what those are is it allows you to go out, and if you have a journal already, then you can go and templatize it and save it away, and then you can use it over and over again. So we're going to look at that. It's a simple thing, but for the financial people, it may be a time saver. And then also what we're going to do is we're going to look at some of the account shortcodes, and we'll set those up as well. So we're going to move through this. And for those of you that haven't seen this project, what we're doing is we're setting this up. We're having a little bit of fun with it. What we're doing is we're going out and we're creating all of this in the environment or the theme of Dungeons and Dragons. So I used to play Dungeons and Dragons. I would still, but I don't have any friends, so it's very lonely to play with one person. And but there's a lot of flexibility that we can have with this, especially when we get to the later sections, when we look at the supply chain and also even the accounts payable and receivable, which we'll be getting to after we get past the ledger. And what we're using is, and let me swap over to here. What we're using is one of my lab environments. So another thing that we're doing here is I'm going through this and partly just testing all of the content that I've created. So I've spent the past, I don't know how long, creating guides showing you how to set up Dynamics. So this is one of the labs that we have. We've got a bank of labs, not many, but if anyone wants to go through and follow through and work through these same examples and do it all yourself, then we can make those available to you. Just call us. Now, what we're going to do though is we're going to be working through the document, the advanced D&D 365 guides. And we're going to step through all of these, and we're going to work through the next two exercises. And again, the first one is for voucher templates. So as we're setting these up, then what we've got is we're going to configure, in this case, we're going to configure or turn one of our existing journals into a template. And we created one yesterday, or in the previous episode, that had, which was just a miscellaneous expense, and was paid through the coinage account or the miscellaneous cash account. Some petty cash, but it's a different name here in the finance in this example. And we're going to create this, and then we're going to use that voucher in a journal. So let's go back to the surface that we've got here, and let's go out and look at this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my general journals, and if I can go out and I can search for this, so I can look for general journals here through the menu search, and also what I can do is I could go and into the general ledger menu, and I can find general journals here. Also, what I can do is I can go into the general ledger of processing, and even go into the new journal section. Let's back out of there and look at all of the journals here within the list. So what we're seeing is here are the 2 journals that we created yesterday. And if I look at those, then this journal is a single line journal where I've got $100 being posted to the different accounts. But let me go to the other one, which is a little bit more clearer. This was the first journal that we created, where we're going out and we're posting a miscellaneous charge, and then we're paying for it with the cash on hand, which is our bank account that has all of our Faerûn dollars. We're not going to worry about the fact that we're overdrawn right now in this bank account. We're going to just worry about that later on. And what we're going to do is we're going to say that I want to create a voucher template. So let's see, maybe. Let me look in here. Okay, sorry, I was actually in the wrong spot. I need to update the instructions and say it's not the functions up here, it's the functions down here. So what we've got is we've got this ability that we've got our template, and we can go out and save this template as this voucher as a template. So if I want to, I can just click and save this, and I can say, how do I want to manage this? Is this a percentage-wise template, or is this an amount-wise template? Now, say for example, if we're going out and we have a standard allocation that we're doing, or an allocation is a bad example, but we're doing a standard journal, and maybe we just want it to be 10%, 20%, 30%, or 110%, then we can create that as a percentage. If we want to go out and manage this as an amount, then we could choose the amount option. I'm going to choose a percentage, and then that's going to go out and create the template for me. So now that I've done that, I've now saved that template away, and I'm hoping that that's done. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to go back, and I'm going to create a new general journal. And this is going to be a general journal. We're going to use our journal posting that we used before. Then we're going to go into the lines. And then what we're going to do is we're going to choose a voucher that we've already used. So before I went out and I saved this, now we're going to select a journal voucher. So this is showing me all of the vouchers that have already been created. So we're going to see all of the journals that we voucherized, I guess that's a word. And we're not, these are linking back to the actual journals themselves. So now that I've done that, I can just say, okay. And then what's the amount of this? I'm going to say this is going to be 200%. So it's going to take all of the figures and it's going to go out and adjust that. So now I've got my journal here, where now the debit and the credit are for $200. The original one was for $100. If I had multiple lines here in my journal that I was running, then these would all be adjusted based off the percentage change that we have. So we're going out and we're going sort of creating this journal. I can go out and post this, and or validate this and post it, and then it's going to go out and post it for me, and everything's done. So as we go out and as we continually create sort of like these miscellaneous journals, then we can voucherize them or templatize the vouchers and have this library of journals that maybe we're creating. So this is a good way that we can manage this. An example of this, which isn't really the best example, is, for example, if we always had a utility bill coming in, and then we had simple allocations that we wanted to do for this, where a certain amount goes to different areas. Then what we could do is we could go out and we could go into the functions here and create a new voucher template and make this as an amount. And then when we go out and create the new journal using the template for the voucher, then we can say now the utility bill is 12,343, and then it's going to go out and adjust that. It's going to create the journals for us. So this is sort of one of the techniques that we can use to help our journalization and our journaling work better. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to continue on. So for all of those that are following there, and I've just awarded myself 295 XP because I went through and ran through this process. But what we're going to do is we're going to show something else. We're going to show one other mechanism that we've got here within the configuration. And that's the account aliases. So what we're going to do is, in our example, our account codes aren't super complicated right now. But what we can do is we can create aliases for our accounts and also for different dimensions that we may be setting up as well, and use those as our shortcodes when we go out and enter in some transactions. So in this case, we've got our petty cash that is going out to be linked to a certain account. So in the old example, it was the petty cash had 6 digits. For us, our petty cash account would be it would actually be 1,000 or 1,010, which is the coin on hand or the dollars on hand with the Faerûnian standard dollars. But when we go out and create these, then these aliases can be reused over and over. So let's go back and look at that. And pull up my view here. What we're going to do is we're going to look for our ledger account aliases. So I did a search here, and something that I've been using this search all the time. This is my favorite way to go out and find a menu item. But just as a little bit of a pointer, you don't have to type in the full description of the menu item that you're looking for. You can type in the one or more characters from each of the words. So I did led, ac, al, but that's the ledger account aliases. I could do LAA and let's make this a little bit more detailed. LAL. And that's going to go out and search for the ledger account aliases. Notice that when I went out and I did LAA, it also found leave accrual audit, leave and absence, a lot of other things, and also ledger account allocation rules and some other things as well. But this is the setup here that we've got for the ledger account aliases is in the GL. So if we go out and look in the chart, if we go to the ledger and we collapse all of these, go to the chart of accounts and accounts, then we should find the ledger account aliases here as well. So it depends on your preference, how you go out and how you want to go out and access this. But I just choose the ledger account aliases. So this is opened up the ledger account alias maintenance form. Right now, because this is a blank system, we don't have any of these configured. So I'm going to create a new one. And I'm going to make this coin on hand. So rather than doing petty cash, I'll do coin on hand. And then this is going to be my balance sheet account, and it's going to be for the Waterdeep Trading Company. And what we're going to do is this is going to be for this account. In a couple more episodes, we're going to go out and expand out these ledger accounts. We're going to add dimensions to the ledger accounts as well. So what we can do with these account aliases, we can actually go out and have the ledger account and maybe the business unit and the cost center and the department, or however we want to set up our chart of accounts. And all of these are going to be referenced just by this one item, which is the alias account. And then we're going to initially go to the main account and save that. So that's the creation of the main of the ledger account alias. If we go out and look further, then what we want to do is we want to go out and want to use more of these in the journal. So what we're going to do is we're going to create our journal, but instead of specifying the account code, then what we're going to do is we're going to use the short code so that we don't have to search for that. So let's return back to our surface, and I'm going to pull up my here, try to get to this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over and we're going to go into our general journal, and we can see all of our journals that we've created. And I'm going to create a new account, and this is going to be a general journal. I'll go into the lines, and I'm going to post this to the miscellaneous account. So it's going to be miscellaneous expenses, and it's going to be for $150. And then I'm going to create the new one. And I don't want to remember the account. I'm just going to go chart the cash on hand or coin on hand. I'll do that again. So I typed in coin on hand, and it filled in the account for me. It would do, again, if I had more dimensions, it would fill those out as well. And then this is for $100. Oops, let me go back here. This is for $150. So this, what I've done is I've started creating some of these accounts, and if I post this, it's going to post. It's not going to be a problem. And we've got some of the setup already done. Now, what I'm going to do is let's go back to the ledger account aliases, and we'll set up some more, and some other ones that may be a little bit more not obscure, but this is the revenue is going to be it's going to be a P&L account, and this is going to be, let's make sure this is right. This is going to be our product revenue, and we've got our main account here. I could go and create a services one. And one final note is I can go out and I can make these private. So I can make this so that everyone has access to it, or just a group, a user group, so we don't have any user group set up, or a particular user if we want to hide it. But there's not a lot of reason to do that right now. Now, services is going to be, should be 4,100. Let's make sure. Let's look at all the sales. So let's make that guild services income, and then let's create just a couple more. So we'll do cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold is another revenue account. Going to be linked to the main account, and this is going to be think in the 6,600. Let's do some. Oh, sorry, 5. Let's choose the right one. This is going to be P&L, not balance sheet, which is why it wasn't showing up. And then for the cost of goods sold, this is going to be in the 5,000 range. Let's find that account. And then I'll create 2 more just to finish these off. So wages is going to be a P&L account. It's not an asset. This is, I think this is going to be 66,000. Let's see, 6,000. Just do a search for wages. Okay. For some reason I don't have wages set up, so let's just do taxes here. And that's going to be P&L. I think that should be taxes here. Let's see if we can find. If I can't find this, then I'll swap out. It doesn't look like I've set up the taxes, so let's delete this row and stick with this. So what I've done is I've gone out and I've started creating all of these mnemonics that we're using to try to remember all of our accounts. And along the way, we found some accounts that we're sort of missing that I need to set up in the system. But it's these journal accounts or these ledger account aliases are an easy way that we can go out and sort of save time as we're going through and putting in the entries. Also, it's good for new people that may not be familiar with the accounts. And if your chart of accounts is a lot bigger and a lot more complicated with more than like a 4-digit account code, then sometimes it's harder to find some of these items. And also, if you go out and set these up for the user, as a user, then you can use your own personal sort of shortcodes to go out and track these. So what we've done is we've gone through this and we've set up some of the templatization that we can have within the ledger. This isn't all of the templatization that you can do. We're going to have account rules, and there's other features that we're going to explore as we move through in future episodes. But this is a starting point. So what we're going to do is we're going to stop here, and in our next episode, if I go out and have a look, then we've actually finished some of the main account of information, ledger information that we've got set up. But in the next episode, we're going to look at some ledger reason codes. So we're going to create auditing and reasoning around why we're going out and posting some of these items. And this is another control that we can set up within the ledger. So we'll stop here. And if anyone has any questions, then don't hesitate to put it in the chat. If you're watching this on YouTube or on Facebook, then liking things always helps a lot. It helps with the algorithm for going out and sort of making this a useful post. And also, if you have any questions, then put them in the chat or contact me directly. I'm pretty easy to find. You can find me on anywhere. LinkedIn is one of the easiest way for you to go out and find me. So we'll stop, and hopefully this is useful and interesting and sort of a starting point for how we can go out and start templatizing some of the ledger information. So until next time, have a great day.